Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Ian has this clap he does to let me know it's starting, and it gets the audio in place. And Winter just got on the altar, was all excited, all cozied up to the stones like she does, and she friggin' launched her ass 100 miles an hour in the opposite direction. The poor thing. Oh my God. Yeah, so I have a fun one I wanted to do. It's if you were invisible for a day, what would you do? I got up at the crack of dawn, started reading your comments. I was so happy and ebullient that I really was having adrenaline surges to the point where I had to go back to sleep for a couple hours, and I literally fell into a crazy hypnotic dream state. And I'm also in a stage of awareness now where it's like I need to absorb this new information I'm understanding of, because you know, it's a little crazy. And I listened to James Van Pry yesterday because I am compelled to get to the next level of understanding and knowing stuff, because sometimes you just receive messages and you're like, that's nice, but then I get curious, where exactly are these coming from and what happens? And I loved his interpretation was simply there is a gatekeeper of the guardian angels, of your spirit guides, of your spirit animals, and he or she allows them to come out at certain times to help you and channel through information to you without overwhelming you or your sensories, because it can be quite frightening, because angel guides are meant to be gentle and sort of whisper your messages and show you your animal spirits slowly, because if it all came in at you at once in the 3D, it would be friggin' crazy. And he was doing things that I was doing in parallel. I just bought these bright blue indigo beads. He was wearing them. It was really something else. I mean, I was like tingling, and it's like, yeah, my body needed to physically take it easy. Okay, so the card should be ready. Now, oh, nice. So if I was invisible for a day, what would I do? I just love that. Yeah. And this is also for the people that are like, I just had one person that was like, you never have any negative cards. Do you take them out? Well, this is perceived as negative. A lot of the sword cards are, but you know what? Again, I'm going to say this again. It's perception. I don't carry past traumas and things with me that bring a negative connotation. I love the Tower because, as one of the readers pointed out this morning, it is a phoenix card. You are going to tumble down away from something that is not good for you, that is torn down to the roots. You have to seek everything from the source, and then you're like the phoenix. I absolutely adore that. Thank you very much for that. And it is very true. My perspective is always going to be from a positive vantage point, and my guides that are around me help me see that too. They remind me all the time. I get super aggravated in traffic and I almost lose my mind at times, and they simply go, Melanie, everything is temporary. What are you getting jacked up about? You have a radio, right? How come you're not listening to music? You love music. How come you're not observing the flora and fauna and the people walking by? Because I love to people watch. And then I calm down because I realize, come on, girl, it ain't that bad. Calm down. And you ever, like, you pull right up to next to somebody in their car and they're way too close and they're looking at you and you're like, hey, how's it going? That's why it's best to be nice to people, because if you give somebody a dirty look and then you're stuck in traffic and they're right next to you, or they have like super loud music that's so obnoxious you can't even understand. Okay, this is what I think some of you would do that were invisible. Some of you would be robbing some banks, you dirty buggers. I hear you already. You're like, oh yeah, I'd be going to Fort Knox. I'd be playing stuff over. Okay, let's see. But again, I want you guys, I feel you're all doing helpful things. I feel like you're setting your goals, you're complimenting other people, you're forgiving things, which is making you lighter. And again, I love this so much when I hear this from my teachers. Guess what? If we are our thoughts and our thoughts are manifesting and we decide we have no enemies, guess what? We don't, because half the time they're imagined, right? They are slights that our egos think has had something occur to us. Most of the times, no, we're not that super interesting to people. They're not talking about us and plotting our death and our downfall. We are not Batman. We can calm down. And oh my God, I can weave a fantastical scenario in my head. I can be something else. I can feel like I'm in another planet when that happens. Especially if people are completely like, just narcissists and the whole world's about them and they're like, yeah, they're always the victim. It's very draining, right? Okay, so what I feel like you guys would be doing if you were invisible for a day. First of all, some of you would be going into banks and places and getting revenge on your old employers and stealing all their money and stuff. I feel like some of you too would like to go visit exes. That's what I'm thinking with that. You would like to go spy on an ex and see what exactly they do with their day and how they spend their time. And it's funny how we do sometimes think, oh, they're just sitting around watching TV. They're never setting goals. They're just laying around criticizing people. They think they know it all. They're blaming everybody for their failures, this and that. Because there's a reason we separate from people and have them out of our lives. And I do know that I have, very rare do I make a miscalculation with a friend, but sometimes I do because, again, they're almost pathological in how they try to garner your affection and attention. And because I'm a giver, they know they bring up all this trauma and this and that, but then they soften it with humor and stuff like that, and they act a certain way, but they're actually just a big time suck and a big they're just a walking attention seeker. It's very tough. So when that happens to me, again, you have the tower moment. And I believe what some of you guys would do is go see what exes are up to. I feel it's so funny. I feel a couple of you guys would just go in strip clubs. I see you would go in Vegas and you would dance along with the dancers, and you would go with ice follies on ice or whatever they are and dance them. I feel like a lot of you would be really silly. I feel like a lot of you would play jokes on people. I see some of you underneath people's popcorn containers at the movie theater. That would be you, Stephanie. Just pop in the bottom of the thing and the popcorn going flying on everybody. And I feel like a lot of you would go into people's homes you don't like that much and mess with their wardrobe and like sew the pants so they're much smaller. I feel like you would hang up really weird artwork that doesn't belong in their homes. And with this, the tower, I feel like every once in a while you guys might get a pyromaniac moment and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of you would want to go back to your old schools and visit your teachers and just sit in the classroom and listen to them, your favorite teachers. I had this teacher I loved so much, Mr. Shea, in 6th grade, and he was so beautiful. And at that point, that's really where somebody, I don't even know how old we were in there. And I remember it precisely because we were doing a play called Belinda and the Beast. And me and this other student who was quite popular, probably the most popular person, split the part of Belinda. And she kept trying to garner, and she's lovely. She turned out one of the most lovely human beings. But in that day when we're smaller and we're not self-aware, we kind of take our popularity a little too seriously. And I was a little quieter in those stages and very studious. So she was like, kept trying to get all the best scenes and adding them and go, well, Mr. Shea, I'm going to do this, this, and that. So what he did was everything that she was saying she wanted, he completely flipped around and gave to me. And I knew at that stage too, I knew how people operated and all that, but I was very like pleasant about it. I didn't care. I just wanted to learn stuff. But I was so proud that he was aware of what was happening and he cared about his students. And you know, you always think in those days, oh, they get to go to the front of the line, the super popular people. And funnily enough, it wasn't until high school when I was in every single group and I had friends all around because they just knew me for the type of person I was, and I didn't care about money, I didn't care about this and that. But I cared about them. So I had artist friends, I had, you know, the glamour plus friends. I had my one stalwart friend for my whole life, and I didn't care. I just sort of was like, I remember I coasted. I never had a bad time, really. But yeah, it's one of those things, you know what I mean? I feel like you guys would love to go back to your old schools, colleges, universities, sit in on lectures of your favorite teachers and professors. I still miss my old teachers because it is a hard-ass profession, I'm telling you, to, first of all, garner the attention, have excellent subject matter, the delivery, and you're dealing with a bunch of hormonal spaz-outs that just can't even sit still, right? So yeah, that would be hilarious. And I also feel like a lot of you would do really gracious, beautiful things, like you would go into floral shops and get big bouquets and leave them on the doorsteps of people that you admire and like. I feel like you'd leave little love notes around for people. I feel like this is very strong in my head, and I think it's so cute. I feel like you would go into pet adoption agencies and you'd play with all the animals, and you would literally get the animals because you'd have a little extra sensory perception. You would get the animals that you knew had to go with the homes they did, but PetSmart can have very high fees, so you'd put them in an automobile and you would drive them. I feel like in this invisibility we'd have to say others, you'd have drivers and things like that and guides to help you because you simply couldn't be a non-person driving a car around because it'd freak out the whole system of what is, you know what I mean? People would be losing their minds and crashing. But yeah, you deliver these animals to homes where you thought they belonged. You would be like the kitten whisperer, and you know, the old folks home, they'd all have a kitten. I have to share this too because it makes me cry and I feel ridiculous. They have this thing now where before kittens are placed in homes, they actually do bring them to Hey, sweetie. Oh, look, she knew I was talking about cats. Hello, Tarot cat, my baby. They bring the kittens to elderly homes where people can play with them and pet them and have them on their laps. And if you ever see a video of this, you will lose your mind. It's the most beautiful, touching thing. They immediately bring the kittens right up to their face and rub their faces on them, and the kittens just become like squishy marshmallows to them because they feel the affection, love, and the energy. You know what I mean? It's so beautiful. That's why when you see all those photographs of puppies and cats with newborn babies, they're very protective of them. They're also like that with the elderly. They realize fragility in situations. So you guys would be like the deliverer of pets. It would be amazing. You would be the Santa Claus of all the puppies and all the kitties, and it's very, very beautiful. I love that. So yeah, I am just so light and happy today after watching James Prawn all his stuff and realizing, yeah, you know, and I want you guys to do this too. Form a little wish box, a little bag, whatever. Get some little pieces of paper. I want you to start today to manifest. All you have to do, it's so simple. Little simple things. I would like to have 2 new clients today. I would like to learn something that I had trouble with before. I would like to master a language. I would like to reconnect with a sister or brother that we have distance between. I would like to do this and that. And then in the present form, I am forming connective bonds to people that I've been separated from. I am being a master manifester by putting my mind in a positive place. I am bringing abundance, health, and wealth into my family. Seriously, guys, please do this. It just is what it is. It's thoughts. Thoughts are energy. Energy is manifestation. I would not say this if I didn't know this was true, because as soon as I started to implement it, it happened to me the day I started doing it. And because you're on that frequency, it is literally just like, okay, and it keeps coming, and it's more and more. Your awareness of it is there, and your gratitude is there. That is the biggest factor in this as well, is your gratitude towards it. You know what I mean? The universe loves gratitude. It loves a thank you and recognition for, you know, a package well delivered, right? You tell eBay 5-star. You tell that universe 5 stars. Okay, you guys, so that's you. And I hope you have a good rest of the afternoon. I'll probably be posting throughout the day because I want to do a lot of fun short kisses for you guys in these videos.